Hey guys, back here again now with the body work on the Toyota 4Runner. Uh, just cleared out the garage here, aired it out. It's pretty decent in here now, a little chilly. Get the heat back on again so we're not sitting here in the cold, freezing our butts off. Like I said a few minutes ago, or like I was saying a few minutes ago, this is tack welded. It doesn't look pretty. It's probably not the best job in the world, but once that starts to, once it's hardened, which it has, it's cooled and everything is hard now, it's solid. It seems to have caught pretty well. It's not loose or anything. I got a couple more spots to weld down in there. Put a couple 3 tacks in there to make sure that's in place before I put Bondo on it. I may or may not need to attack this a little more down here. I got to grind some of this paint off. Can't weld this section without getting rid of some of this paint here. And then I'm going to focus on cutting this, probably with the plasma cutter, I would think. Grinding that really good to get some paint off of this surface here. See if I can get that tacked. I've got quite a few pop rivets down here that are holding it pretty good on the bottom and as well as around the back end. There is a bumperette that goes on here. You could call it a bumperette, I guess. It's a little sump bumper. Attaches to the main bumper, comes around here to cover that up. In here somewhere, which I covered up like a dumbass. I should have taken the time to mark it first. I didn't, but I've got to go inside and find there's a couple of holes in there, threaded holes in there where there's a bracket that goes on here, bolts on, and that bracket, then of course the bumperette bolts on that. So I've got to also make sure that I reestablish those holes in there so that I can get the bumperette and the bracket attached again. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take my grinder and I'm going to go at this surface here, just kind of go over that with a grinder and see if I can smooth that out a little better. If I get it smoothed out nice and everything stays stuck, doesn't pop loose, or even if it pops loose, I guess, either way, if I see some areas where I might want to drop a little more weld in there, I'll do that. But let's right now just find out how this weld comes up if I give it a little scuffing with the grinder. So that's the next thing. So again, you might want to turn your volume down a little bit. It's going to get noisy. Grinding is always noisy, as we all know. So I can set you up here where you can get a kind of a view up on the trusty old toolbox there. That should probably do it. I put a light bulb in here. This is my my last bulb that I have in stock here in the garage, and it's a rough service bulb. But at the same time, I'm going to make sure that I don't drop any weld on it because I know the weld will definitely cause a problem. I'm going to put it up here. I think it gives me a little light if I do that. Doesn't seem to be a problem for the camera and you guys, so we'll give that a go. First, we got to get a little energy snack here. Peanuts. Peanuts are good. Good for you. These are salted. I should be eating unsalted, but Walmart, of course, I used to buy the unsalted ones from Walmart all the time. Went through a lot of them. Like anything else I buy at Walmart on a regular basis, seems the more I empty the shelf, more likely they are to discontinue them. So they discontinued the unsalted and bought these sea salted ones in. So I'm getting more salt than I should, but what are you going to do, right? Okay. So if we're going to grind, we need some tools to work with. I may put my mask on. I need my silencers. Don't want to be subjecting myself to a lot of noise. Put these trusty little guys back on and the mask. Grab the grinder and go at it. So I won't be saying a whole lot here for a few minutes, guys. Okay, that taken care of. I should put the mask on first, but didn't. It's okay. There we go. The mask is not quite as critical for the grinding, but whatever, I'll wear it. Uh-oh. Lost power. Why did I lose power? Oh, because I plugged my welder in. So unplug that, and I'll plug the light back in. I think, or not the light, the grinder. Okay guys, that's just a quick going over with the welder, or sorry, with the grinder, and I'm surprised these welds actually came up much better than I would have expected. I thought a lot of them would have just let go, popped, and not stuck to the surface once I put the grinder to them, but it appears that everything stuck very well. Still looks like crap. I could probably grind it some more, but I don't want to be too fussy with it since I'm going to cover it with Bondo anyway. The surface is a little below the original surface, so I can fill that in. I probably don't want to fill it in too much. I might even push it in a little more from the back side just so it's not quite as recessed. It looks like I might use quite a bit of Bondo there. I think this is actually supposed to be somewhat flared. It's not. It's pretty deep right here. I might have to bring this out here. Or I could just put some Bondo on it and, you know, do as good a job as I can with the expectation that it's not going to be perfect. So I thought I would use the TIG welder, or I'm sorry, the plasma cutter to cut this off here, but I think I'm going to save myself a little hassle. This is not really that difficult probably to take my other grinder that has a cutting stone on it and just run along that real quick with a cutting stone. And then I can tap that in, clean up some of that paint there so I have some bare metal, and then tack that the same way I did up here. Try to get a relatively, it doesn't have to be perfect there because the bumperette is going to cover it up over here on this side, so it doesn't have to be perfect, but as long as it gets a seal and everything looks half decent and it's shallow enough that I can put Bondo on it and not waste a lot of Bondo in the area, then it should be okay. I want to get this prepped and get to the Bondo as quickly as possible on this side because I would like to finish this side up, or at least just, you know, have it very close to finished so that we can see what the end result will look like, or at least the end result as far as the Bondo and maybe a little primer. Then I can go ahead and focus on the other side and get the major structural damage that's there, the rust and stuff taken care of. It's not quite as bad as this, at least at a glance. It doesn't look as bad. I haven't pulled the bumperette off the other side, so I don't know how much it's through on that side. Hopefully it's not that bad. We'll see. But in the meantime, I'm going to continue on here. I think the next step is going to be to focus over here now, cut this, grind this off the paint, and do a little more welding here to make sure this stuff is tacked on, make sure that's tacked on. Might grind it down here a little more at the bottom, make sure that gets tacked because this piece wraps down around. It's got a rivet here and here and here. Make sure that can be tacked there. Then I've got to find those two holes. I've got to drill through that where those two holes are so I can actually attach the bumperette bracket back onto the vehicle once that's all taken care of. If I can get this to seal good, I probably don't even have to put any Bondo on that. I'll seal that up and put the bumperette back on, and if there's any light coming through from the outside when I look on the inside behind the panel, I'll use, like I said, that foam that you would use for insulation in a house. It's in a spray can, spray bomb. It just that goes quite a long ways. I could probably throw some of that down in there just to make sure it seals, and I'm pretty sure that if I do that after all the welding and all the grinding is done, and you know it's not going to see any extreme heat, it should hold up very well. But until then, we will pause. So for now, peace out.